Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can make better villains for your D&D campaigns. So, let's get started. It's much more interesting having a villain with complex morals than just evil for the sake of being evil. They actually have goals and beliefs. Maybe they don't think they're the bad guy. A lot of real life villains don't think they're the bad guy. Everyone has a reason and they feel justified for what they're doing. So, having a bad guy who knows he's the evil one and is just out to be evil can feel a little shallow. Of course, I'm not saying that some people can't make this work, as every DM and every table is different. Different stuff is going to work for everyone, and to be honest, in the hands of different DMs, almost any rule or any trope can be fun. Part of making a bad guy is making the reason for why it's the player's job to take them down. Why do the players even want to? Don't kingdoms have armies for this? Why do your players have to do it? Why shouldn't they be off finding loot? Well, I think the main reason for this is backstory. The villain should have something with the players that makes it more personal. Maybe the players have never met the villain, but maybe he betrayed a mentor of one of the players' characters. Or maybe he actually personally knew one of the characters and turned evil. That, or maybe the villain was responsible for something that happened in the player characters' backgrounds, like destroying their town, killing their family. Something that makes the players want to hunt this guy down. Making a perfect villain isn't likely to end up being interesting, so if you give your villain a flaw, they can end up being a whole lot more interesting. And if you really play into that flaw, then your players might see it and have a lot of fun taking advantage of it. Whether you make them really arrogant, or really paranoid, or have a really big obsession with something, it can make them a much funner character to play and a much more interesting villain. Sometimes it can be fun to have a face villain, the main villain that the party interacts with, only later in the campaign to find out that there's a bigger bad behind the one that you interact with. It can be fun to see all the different dynamics that can happen here, whether your main problem is with the smaller bad guy, and then you find out that he's being controlled or manipulated by the larger bad guy, and maybe you can actually start to relate to the smaller bad guy, maybe even to the point of creating a sympathetic villain, which I have a whole nother video about. If you'd like to check that out, I'll link it up in the cards. Or there's lots of other really fun dynamics that you can have with a face villain and a larger villain. It just is such a fun combo to work with that I think it's worth trying and experimenting with. Another awesome thing you can do is almost like having guilds where you've got different leaders and maybe all of them aren't completely good, but they're probably not all evil either. They're all just illegal businessmen. So it can be really cool to have your party kind of pick where their allegiance is going to be, and then they can choose who their enemy is. It's not this guy's trying to take over the world, it's this guy is a threat to me or my organization. And that can change, and maybe you can have a whole guild world or something, and it can be really fun to navigate lots of things, whether you want to try making peace with somebody or whether you just want to go full out war with somebody. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I really hope it was helpful, and if it was, then I'd really appreciate it if you'd give the video a like or maybe even subscribe to my channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.